Hello and welcome to the latest MK Web, MK Dons podcast with myself, Dan Palmer and Scott Kirk.
Hello.
All right, how's it going this week?
Not too bad, Jay, yourself?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Quite exciting FA Cup replay. Yeah. Obviously, Dons beaten 3-1 by Wigan after extra time. We're out of the cup. Is it the end of the world?
No, it's not the end of the world, I don't think. But it was a brilliant game. Two fantastic games, which will live long in the memory, I think. Really exciting games, especially against. I mean, Uwe Rosler's not lost in the league since he's taken over, I don't think. Or he's not lost in lost in domestic competitions. So, for Dons to have got two very, very good draws against them, and Dean Lewington made the point, and I have to agree with him that Dons were probably the better side, if anyone. Played really, really well, and I think that it's a massive confidence booster because you can take that against a very, very good Championship side. If it's a massive if, obviously Don's getting promoted this season, and I think a lot of people sort of kind of expect it not to happen. But if the best happens, then you look at sort of a team like Wigan and you think, well, actually we've held them to two very good draws when we're a League One side. So there's a lot of confidence which I think can be gained from that, and I think it's a really positive. It's been a really positive couple of games. It's going to be interesting on Saturday because they were shattered after 120 minutes, I'm sure. But but I think it was a brilliant, brilliant couple of games. Just a pleasure to watch both of them, and I don't think it's the end of the world to an extent. I mean, obviously there's Preston games now been rearranged, so you look at the midweek games already. They've now got that week off, like I say, but that has to be rearranged for another midweek. The Oldham game still has to be rearranged. So even with those, you're sort of wondering about all these games that have been rearranged before you think of any FA Cup games. So obviously it's weird, isn't it? You always want to do well in the FA Cup, obviously, but it's happened now, so it's good while it lasts. Got to the third round again, which is good. Shame it's not one of the big boys, but play the cup holders. So I mean, it's good to have. I don't think Dons have ever played Wigan before as well. So which is I'm not sure if they have. They might have done. I'm not sure on that one actually. Think about it, but it's a couple of really good games.
I think it's another two good performances against teams above us above Dons in the standings. As you've seen that a few times down the years, really. Whether that's the better teams, the higher teams come and play football a bit more and have a go a bit more and give Dons a bit more space to put the Carl Robinson's passing game into effect, because they always seem to raise it against the big clubs, especially in recent years. You think QPR twice or three times really. And
Wolves, of course, as well.
Wolves as well,
in the league, so.
And they maybe seem to struggle a bit against the team to sit back and have two blocks of four in the midfield and the defence.
I couldn't agree more with that, because I mean, look at what was it at Bramall Lane as well. They seem to like going to these big grounds, former Premiership grounds, and then obviously didn't beat Colchester, and they did just have everybody behind the ball, and they had one half chanting the entire game. So it's I think you're totally right with that. I think they get up for the big games, and now it's a case of. And I think they'll do well at Bristol City on Saturday, because they were, they're a big team. And when you look at their strike force, I think that's the sort of game which they'll be up for. And I can't see Dons losing on Saturday. I mean, I know Bristol City kind of draw specialists, so logic tells you that draw is probably going to be the result. But I genuinely don't think Dons will lose on Saturday. I think that they can get a lot of confidence from these games, and I think they'll kick on.
Yeah, it's very interesting games. Obviously, Bristol City still second bottom of the league, which is
unbelievable.
For a team of that stature, just down from the Championship last season. Got a very good new manager now in Steve Cottrell. And I don't think they've won a game in 2014 yet, but they won 3 games in December. So they're certainly picking up a bit.
I think it just shows though how tough League One is this season, and we've all said it from the beginning of the season. Look at the teams in the league, I mean, look at Coventry, for instance, as well. They're -10. They'd be right up there if they were in that -10, So there are so many good teams this season. And I think Bristol City and Sheffield United are another example of that as well. I think you're not guaranteed success, just by spending money. There's some very, very good teams in this league. And I mean, look at Colchester. They've got, Sanchez playing for Leeds. He's a good player. And they've got some decent players, and you wouldn't have Colchester to me. You wouldn't really have them as a top half of the table side. So there's some good, and Colchester got 4 points off them. So there's some really good teams in there, and I think Bristol City have obviously found that out this season.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't help when you can get that mentality when you're relegated as well, can't you? And it can be hard to shake that off. I don't think that helps, but you know. Yeah,
different teams react in different ways, and some they go even further, and some further down, and some bounce back.
Wolves, of course,
immediately. Yeah.
You know, so.
I mean, like you say before, it's obviously a bit of a shame to go out on the FA Cup, but if there's a blessing in disguise, it's the old cliche of fully focusing on the league, and now not too far off the playoff spots with games in hand over every team above us now after Swindon slipped up in their midweek game on Tuesday against Stevenage.
Yeah, I still don't like having a game in hand though. Like, I think when teams have a game in hand, there's an assumption that they're going to get 3 points from it, and I don't like that because you've got to have the points on the board.
Of course,
so because I'm sure Alder will be looking at that game and thinking, come up there on a Tuesday night, they're probably thinking we're going to get 3 points out of it as well. So, it's, to me, it's you are where you are in the table, and the number of games you've played is irrelevant, really, to an extent.
Yeah.
I've seen it before when teams can have 4 games in hand, but if you lose them all, it makes a difference. So, it makes no difference. So it's we've got to win that one, but. Yeah, I think Don's in a positive place still at the moment.
Yeah, so I'd say so.
Compared to the other way when it's 12th and about 6, 7, 8 points off the playoffs. It's looking a lot better now. And
right in the hunt.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. There was a sort of I think Don were at risk at then of that there was a bit of a playoff chasing pack, and you sort of wonder they were kind of getting a little bit detached from that, and they've got rid of that gap now, and they're part of that chasing pack, which is great stuff. So if I can just keep these results ticking away. 3 away league games in a row now. Not going to be easy.
Yeah, but, and that's starting with Bristol City, and obviously their ace in the pack is Sam Baldock, someone who Dons know very well.
Well, we know he's going to score on Saturday.
He's already scored the traditional goal against his former club that every player who comes back to play against Dons seems to be doing.
Yeah, it's 4 times I think that's
this season. So. He's going to be a threat, isn't he? It's almost in the script that he's going to score again.
I think may as well get your bets on now. He's a quality striker. It's amazing that he's at a club that's second from bottom in League One, really.
Yeah.
But just got to deal with him, and like I say, I still think Dons will win, or at least get a draw on Saturday. Feel quite confident about that.
Yeah.
Usually the opposite happens though.
Yeah, but very strange, really, if you think of Sam Baldock leaving for West Ham United to go up the divisions, and now not too far on, and he finds himself below MK Dons in the table. That must be be strange for him, and he, like I say, he shouldn't be playing for a team at that level, and but I'm sure Bristol City are going to start coming up the divisions.
You'd think so, but I thought they'd have done that by now, to be honest. I thought they'd have been out of that relegation zone by now, and they're still in there. So that you don't know, do you? Like once they get that mentality, and they're used to kind of drawing really this season. Like not used to winning games, so it's. You don't know. I mean, like I say, the league's so tough this season. Maybe they won't get out of it. You can't imagine Bristol City in League 2. That'd be
no, you can't. No. And you mentioned there the run of away games with the that could be a factor. There's a bit of travelling in there as well, like the Crew and Carlisle. The one nobody's looking forward to, isn't it?
I'm obviously looking forward to 10 hours in the car or whatever.
I think you should set off in the next half an hour for that game.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think that the Saturday off, a week on Saturday, is going to help massively with that now. With all the travel.
Yeah, that could be a blessing in disguise, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
That day off.
Especially when you're going up to Carlisle, they're obviously going to have to. Players will have to go up on Monday and probably won't be back until the Wednesday, so that's gonna ease things a lot, I would imagine, in terms of just the schedules. So I think that helps, that eases it a lot. But 3 away games in a row is never easy, and especially when all the miles that they're going to have to travel. Crew's not exactly hop, skip and a jump away, and Carlisle's obviously more so. So it's a lot of travelling to do over the next few weeks. that's the way the season's gone at the moment. So there was a run, I think, pretty sure in December when Don's didn't have an away game for 3 weeks. So obviously you pay for that later on in the season.
Yeah. Just a quick word about Chris Long, the new striker from Everton. He made his debut in the win over Shrewsbury, 3-2 victory. Got himself a goal as well. How did you think he performed on his debut?
It looks quite lightweight. I mean, he's only 18. He's quite small, but I think that's fair enough for an 18-year-old. But he was full of running. Really good work rate off the ball, and I think that's half the battle with players sometimes. You can get strikers who are, Berbatov springs to mind for one, who just don't expect the ball. So he's a very hard worker, which is going to really stand him in good stead. And if he, I think he just needs to bulk up a little bit. If he can bulk up a bit, I think he'll do well. I think that the cherry's out a little bit with him because his goal is about usually it gets, and it's only one goal. But he's only 18, so you've got to give him that little bit of time, and he's certainly he's quite quick. He works hard off the ball, like I say. He's not afraid to hassle defenders. He can hold up the ball. He's pretty strong, even though he is quite light. So I think he'll do okay for Donzo the next few weeks. And it's going to be interesting to see, really. And, from what Carl Robinson was saying, he's never really left Liverpool before. So this is more of a development, I think, for him as a person almost, rather than a player. It's almost like going to uni for the first time, So
it must be like that,
yeah. So I think he's going to have to get used to that, but I think it looks good. It looks good, and if he can, it was an easy goal on Saturday, but you've got to be there, and if he can just be poaching like that, and get a few goals like that, is leading the line, and if he can just pop up with a few goals like that. Great stuff, as long as he bangs the goals in, you don't really care where they come from, do you? So it's...
Yeah, we spoke last time, didn't we, about the sort of pressure on him stepping into Patrick Bamford's shoes, or his prolific goal-scoring boots, and hopefully that will do him the world of good to get off the mark.
Well, I mean, he's wearing the number 15 as well, which I think says a lot about he comes across as quite a strong mentality to be able to just say, Bamford for 15, not really bothered. I'll pick up his goals. It's brave of him. And he's obviously not bothered about that, which is a really good sign as well. So, but yeah, I think that will ease some pressure on him massively. That he's got his first goal in his first game, and I think he can kick on now. And I'm really intrigued to see how he's going to play on he will play. I've got no doubt about that. So I'll be really intrigued to see how he plays on Saturday.
Yeah, it didn't really work out in the replay for Dan Powell up front, did it? So
he did okay.
We need Long back in the.
He did okay, but I think Long would be better. I think you want Powell charging down the wing, frightening the life out of fullbacks. I think that's where Daniel Powell's best suited. He did a job up front, but for me, you want someone like Long up there. I think, and I think Powell, like I say, is going to be a lot better suited on wing. But obviously, Bodic back now as well.
Yeah, I was going to say another. The win against Shrewsbury. If Carl Robinson could have picked his scorers. I'm sure Long would have been in there for the debut goal, and Bodic just moments after coming on after his lengthy injury break. I remember Stephen Gleeson doing the same last season. He was out for a month or so, then a bit longer, and maybe he came on as a sub, and he found the net very, very soon after coming on, and now Bodic has done it as well. So it's the cliche again. It's like a new signing, is it? The goals and assists he's provided when he's been at the club been sorely missed. And I actually thought, I didn't know if we'd ever see the best of him this season. I thought he'd maybe come back a bit later than this, and it'd take him a little while to get back up to speed. And maybe it still will, but there's promising signs that he's come on and he's contributed. He's contributed already. So hopefully we will get to see a bit of his best in the last few games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd not actually seen him play before, because obviously I've only come in this season, so I've never seen him play. And he's very confident on the ball, and I mean the way he took his goal was absolutely brilliant. And he had a chance just before that as well, so he were almost like, I've not played for so long, I really want to play now, and they were just like, I think that was just such a massive boost. And he played a bit longer than expected, obviously, on Saturday. I think part of his training programme is going to be involved, recuperation programme, if you like, will involve him playing games. But he's a great, from the little I've seen of him so far, he seems to be a massive boost. He's certainly a great player to bring off the bench. I'm sure eventually he's not going to be come off the bench, but you know, it was absolutely fantastic. You could see the boost that it provided everybody as well. You know, when he came on and he just sort of quality. You know, and I mean, if he can do that 5 minutes after coming out all season, that's mightily impressive. And you know, if he can just carry on now, fair play to him. You know, it's I'm looking forward to seeing him some more.
Just finally then, the other scorer against Shrewsbury was Dele Alli. After you gave him a bit of stick last week, saying add some goals to his game. So he was obviously listening to the podcast.
Well, I mean, it's hard.
I'm sure all the players do. So.
It's hard because he is 17, like, you know, so you don't want to be like. It's hard to be critical of a 17-year-old, you know. And I really didn't mean to sound harsh with that. But,
no, he did.
But he's in the first team now, isn't he? You know, and your midfielders have got to score. And if he's going to be playing every game, 17 or 32, you know, you've got to do a bit of a job, and it was good to see him getting on the score sheet, easing the pressure off Long again a little bit, you know, not just relying on the striker getting the goals off. Like I think it happened a bit with Bamford, but with Bodic back now, Powell's back. Chadwick looked okay when he started again against Wigan as well. So there's some players coming back now, which I think will ease the pressure, and which is really good. But yeah, it was great to see him. Took it really well. Unbelievable ball by Gleeson.
Great.
You know, I get more and more impressed with him every game. His passing is unreal at times, and he just floated that in. But Dele Alli, brilliant run, and just a cushion the header is lovely. So
from what I've seen, Gleeson's getting better and better, and Carruthers is on loan now to the end of the season.
He was absolutely brilliant.
He's getting better and better each week. So hopefully players hitting form at the right time.
Definitely. I mean, against Wigan, Carruthers was superb. He really was good. He never stopped. He was hassling the Wigan players all over the pitch. You know, he was just full of running. It was absolutely brilliant on Tuesday night.
Something, just one last mention about Ali. His performances are so good. Anyway, he's already in the shop window. We don't really need his name appearing on video printers as a goal scorer. That's just gonna more and more suitors are going to be coming down. Understand there are a lot of scouts at Tuesday night's game, even though he wasn't playing. But
well, it's
they're going to keep coming to watch him and watch MK Dons, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's almost the same with the situation with Bamford was playing so well that you kind of didn't want him to score as many goals because it gets him the attention, and I think it's a little bit the same with Ali now, you know, because he's only 17, so the potential, he can go anywhere in the game, really. And it's one of those where obviously you want him to play well because you're going to get results out of him playing well, but, you know, the more he plays well, the more he's going to get noticed, so it's,
absolutely.
It's annoying, really, but, but he's going to get noticed. I mean, he's so big as that, like, you know, he's over 6 foot, and, you know, to say his body's not even fully developed yet, you know, he can, do you know what I mean?
It's scary.
You know, he could, I mean, the way he goes forward, he could always be a Yaya Toure, I think, like, if he can, you know, if his body develops in the right way, and if he keeps going with his game, like, do you know what I mean? I can see him in that sort of similar role, really. He's absolutely, and the number of times he gets fouled is unbelievable. I've never seen a player fouled so much. He's constantly being fouled. It's unbelievable. Like, and you know, I mean, that's a sign that you got a good player when he's getting fouled so much. And they're not dives as well. You can see the players who dive.
They just don't know how to handle him, do they?
They just can't handle him, so they just hack him down. That's the only way they can handle him. So, sign of a great player, and unfortunately, I can't see him staying at Dons for too much time, really. So.
We'll watch this space in the transfer window.
I hope he stays, and if he does go, you'd like to think they'd loan him back. You know, you can imagine if you're a Liverpool thinking, well, let's give him a season in League One. You know, we'd probably send him out on loan anyway. So, you'd like to think something like that could happen, but like you said.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see. That's it for this week. Enjoy the Bristol City game if you're going, and we'll see you next week to talk about the goings on at the club. Yeah. Thanks very much. See you again. Bye. I'm not in.